All right. So tell me, I mean, what are your ideas, your philosophies when you come out and you say something like on social media as far as something obscured, you know? Because, I mean, I think we can both agree it's slightly, you know it's obscured, right? Or no, you don't think it's obscured?
Well, I think what happens is the gods kind of give me some information that,
And what gods in particular, if you don't mind me asking?
okay, well then I have to go down the list of the dominant hierarchy of gods. So at the top is the lizard god, and he's the architect of our universe. And then there's ayahuasca, who is kind of like the plant god of our planet.
Okay.
And then there's San Pedro, and then there's your personal god.
So the lizard god, how did you find out about him? When did you start learning about the lizard god?
Can I just like, I'm kind of having trouble like finding a good way to communicate between us.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to like dominate our talk, or I don't want to.
Dude, talk however you want, man. You're the one. You're explaining yourself. So
I'm just gonna get fucking comfortable here and just
Yeah.
like, kind of do my own thing.
Yeah.
Like I tried communicating like to where like I'm listening to you. I'm trying to like get into your. I'm trying to like just kind of feel this out, and it's like hindering my ability to think. So I have to get comfortable and.
Yeah, take your time, man.
Yeah, so, how are you doing? Like,
I'm good. I mean, as far as life, I'm just like everyone else, like just finding myself, you know, just like trying to figure out what my purpose is, what my career is, and if that aligns with my purpose. Like, you know, that's the biggest struggle for me, is finding out what I want to do and then how I can make money doing that in particular.
What do you like to do?
I like photography. I like my camera. I like, you know, documenting things. I like interacting with people. So like this, I enjoy what we're doing right now. I enjoy meeting people that, you know, are in a sense gone through. We all have a different trail of life. Like we all, you know, when I was in high school, I thought we all go to elementary school, middle school, high school, and then we all go to college, or we all do the same. I thought we were all in the same life path. But we're not. And like, you know, people take all different avenues, all different directions, and I think it's interesting to meet up with people that are on different avenues as me, you know. So I do different jobs. I worked in Alaska on a salmon boat, which I never in my wildest dreams thought I would, but interacting with fishermen, and then working on a vineyard in New Zealand and interacting with you know, people that own the vineyard. Like that's what I enjoy, is meeting people, talking to them, learning about them, and kind of seeing how they think, you know. So maybe a part of like psychology in a sense. But yeah, photography is my number one, and then interacting with people I would say is number two. So.
Well, like, do you even need to be here right now?
No, I was just coming by to give you cigarettes, man. I thought you wanted to tell me about your god. I was interested in the lizard god. I mean, the god of the planet, man. He seems. So there's the lizard god. Then you have a ayahuasca. I'm sorry, I murder that every time.
That's fine. It's ayahuasca, and
Ayahuasca.
She's like this goddess of the earth, and I don't know. There's kind of a lot going on in my head right now. Like, do you? I don't want. Like, is there anything like you personally want to know? Like,
if you want to know personally, what I want to know, because a lot of the stuff you say, like you say things on social media, and that's how I know. That's how I interact with my friends, and that's how I kind of keep tabs on, you know, my friends. And you say things on social media that I kind of sometimes agree with. Like, you said something to me that you hit me so hard, and it was basically like, what is your purpose? You know, you're just traveling, going around, like taking photos, like. And like to me, like to everyone, they were like, I had a lot of friends reach out and they were like, man, Jon Shumen's being an asshole to you, like, and who is Jon Shumen? Like, and I was like, you know what? Like, everything that he said, in a sense, was slightly true. Like, I think about those things. So, like, I think about, what is my purpose? What am I doing? Is this stupid? Like, I'm just traveling the world, like, but, like, I come home, and every time I have to find a job, and, like, it's cyclical, you know? So, but, so I can relate to some of the things you say. But what I am really interested in, what I wanted to know about, like a lot of people, like I know Emily Burkholtz, she wanted me to bring up a pack of cigarettes today for you.
Oh, I talked to her last night.
Yeah. And the reason why I didn't bring up a pack of cigarettes was because of the child conversation that you had with her. And she doesn't, and she's not the only one. There's plenty of people that are like, what the fuck did Shumen just say? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it was like, I would fuck any man, woman, or child.
Yeah.
If they wanted me to.
Yeah.
But your philosophy on that was what? Was that...
It's an experiment to trust the universe.
Okay.
So it's like saying, like, another crazy thing, like, if I ran into a drug user, or like, if I ran into someone who's addicted to drugs, and like they're like, oh, I'm 6 months clean, I'd be like, try some heroin. So there's, I understand your thing. Like, I understand your reasoning. Like, if they want, like, if it's, so let's just go back 1 second. With the child thing, your reasoning was, if it was, I'm sorry, that if the child wanted you to, and if you want to, it would be fate, but your trust in society, your trust in humanity, or whatever the trust is, and that's not going to happen because that should never happen, correct? Does that make sense? But if it does happen, you have to trust that it's going to be okay.
So if a child came here and said, hey, Jon Shumen, please have sex with me, that would be okay because the universe allowed it to?
Well, just think about, like, what happened in order for you to get here. Like, you had to call my phone.
I did.
How many times?
I called it 8 times. I knocked on 3 random doors.
Yeah. So, like, the first time you call, I'm like, well, I don't answer my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't know who it is, I'm not going to answer my phone.
But you're saying I'm here right now because I want to be here.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So, like, there's some checks and balances. All right. Like, child knocks on my door. I said, okay. He says, I want to fuck you. Okay. Well, let's figure out what's going on here. First of all, where are your parents? And it would be, there would have to be so many levels of things to happen to get to a point of having sex with a child, which is a weird concept, weird idea, but like God gave me this information that says, John, you can have sex with any man, woman, or child. I'm heterosexual. I don't want to have sex with men. But I'm just,
So, all right, so hypothetically, I'm heterosexual as well. Hypothetically, say I came here and I was like, John, it's so good to see you. I want to have sex with you right now. What do you do?
I can tell you're not being genuine.
Yeah, all right. But, I mean, is that what it takes? Is that all it takes? Is someone to come to the door, knock, and be like, hey, because if they said that, then the universe, that's your philosophy, huh?
Yeah, man. Like you have to be willing to do things that are fucking outrageous. Yeah, does that satisfy your, like...
I mean, no, I understand. I was just trying to get to the root of, because, like, whether you think that, I mean, you can think that. Like, I think a lot of things, and, like, I've gotten in trouble because whether it be, like, my political beliefs or, like,
So I'm 100% willing to have sex with a child. But in order, like, the universe would kind of...
Would you ever go out of your way? Like, what if that God told you to have sex with a child? Would you go out of your, like, would that be the universe telling you to do it, in a sense? Does that make sense? Like, what if you woke up one day and you had an urge, you had a dream that said, hey, go have sex with a child. This child, not one in particular, but a child wants you to have sex with it. Do you act on that?
Well, and God's kind of already did say that. Like, they said, John, you know, you can have sex with a man, woman, or child. And I said, okay, well, I'm gonna put this out to the universe and you know, put it on social media and see what people think.
Yeah.
No one has been able to prove me wrong. Like, no one has been able to like prove to the God inside me that that is a bad idea. So that is why I put those ideas out there. I'm saying, please prove me wrong. Show me that I am wrong, because this idea is outrageous.
Now, say you did have sex with a child and you got caught and you were in jail. Now, does that, I mean, is that okay? Like, as far, would that repercussion affect you? Would you care if you went to jail? Like, say you woke up, God says, like he said, you can have sex with a child. Do you, and you act on it, like, do you think about the repercussions about it, or is it just solely, hey, listen, this is what the God told me to do today?
I guess this is kind of in the same philosophy of, like, you have to be willing to go to jail, you have to be willing to have sex with a child, and but I don't know. Like, does that answer the question? Like,
I mean, it somewhat answers. I mean, I understand where you're getting at. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I mean, I understand what's going on in your head and why you think, you know, that if a God's telling you to do something, that it's okay. But at the same time, like, we all have different gods, you know, and maybe no God is the right God. I don't know. I'm not, to be honest with you.
We all have the same gods.
You think so? The lizard.
Is that so? The lizard king is the god of the universe. Then San Pedro and ayahuasca are for the earth.
Okay.
And then you have your own personal god within you.
Okay. And now, would that be the Christianity or the Muslim or, you know, the Hindu or? I mean.
I don't like religion.
Okay. Likewise.
Yeah. I don't know. I like this conversation because I'm kind of fleshing out my ideas, but I'm kind of having difficulty like arriving at a central point. Like, so I kind of like this because it's easier to tell online when you're talking to someone online. Like, if the I don't know. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of having trouble arriving at a destination.
Yeah, no, of course. Well, that's, I mean, with a conversation, it's continuously flowing. So, I mean, the destination is down the river, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, honestly, I just wanted to stop by. I wanted to swing by, give you some cigarettes, have a chat with you, man. I haven't seen you since maybe high school soccer days. I always remember riding back, what was it, Eclipse? You had a little Mitsubishi Eclipse? No, what was your car back? I knew you had a system in the back.
Let me just like, I don't want to dominate the conversation like I said.
Go for it, man.
Let me just like, I'll just lay down some central points.
Yeah.
Like, God, let me have a cigarette. Dude, I will chain smoke these motherfuckers all fucking day. Like, okay, so this is nice because I'm kind of like getting the feel. I don't have too many one-on-one conversations with people like this.
No, of course.
It's mostly on the computer, so. I guess let me go down my central points here. What the main things I want to get out to people is that, as weird as it seems, you know, something happened on January 13th, 2019. There were sequences of synchronicities that happened that brought me to studying Christianity online and things like that, and coming to the realization that I am Jesus Christ of the Christian mythology, who was quote-unquote resurrected on January 13, 2019. And so once that happened, I noticed a complete shift in the entire universe. And it fucking scared the shit out of me. I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah.
But everything, like, all the people I was seeing on the street, all my conversations, everybody I was talking to online, everything was just like, everybody was like enlightened and like acting like they were like these beautiful manifestations of God and the universe, and I was just like, oh my God, like this is beautiful. And so before the 13th, if I were to lay out the idea that I wanted to have sex with a child, you know, the backlash would have been ridiculous. It would have been crazy. But now that that the universe has kind of shifted in this new way, everybody's like on my side. And so I had this terrible realization that
Just to cut you off real quick, I don't mean to dominate the conversation either, but when you say everyone's on your side, what do you mean everyone's on your side? Because that's not the feeling I'm getting. But, I mean, explain, I mean,
maybe
elaborate.
It's only me. Maybe it's only me as this Jesus figure, because I'm the savior of humanity or whatever, so, like, no one can, like, put me down or say any bad things about me, you know, like, nothing can... It feels like nothing can hurt me and like I'm invincible.
Do you ever feel violent in a sense? Like, do you ever have an urge to be violent?
That's the thing. Like, I am the most holy person you will probably ever meet. Like, I am deeply spiritual. I deeply care about everybody. I'm very compassionate. Everything I say comes from a place of love and compassion. So it's like you wouldn't want anybody else. If anybody else were to find themselves as Jesus Christ and be in charge of the earth, right now, I'm the guy that you would want to do it.
Okay.
Like, and I could go into my work ethic. You know, I work every day, and by work I mean I go on the computer and I talk to people every day.
Yeah.
And it's tiring.
Yeah.
I like it. It gives me joy. I like helping people and things like that, but. I'm the right person for the job.
And what is the job? Like, what do you do for the job of being God?
Well, we are all God, but
Coco. No. No. Sorry. I don't want to. She's chill. But she tells me what she wants, and right now, what do you want? She said, let's go somewhere. Coco, lay down.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, like, I don't talk to people a whole lot in, like, real life conversation like this, so this is kind of, like, a really good chance for me to, like get to experience this. So.
Well, I'm going up to Tallahassee, man. I'll be back sometime during the week. I don't know at what point. We're basically just remodeling this house. So, hopefully, we're done within the next few days, but if so, I can stop back by. If you like, if you're around, I'll give you a text. I won't give you a ring. I know you don't answer phone calls.
No, dude, I love you for coming here. Like,
yeah, man.
Like, it's really cool. I kind of don't want you to leave, but that's not my choice.
Yeah, I'll be back. Like you said, I'll be back, or like I said, I'll be back soon, like within the next few days, and we can talk. I'll get my cameras charged so we can actually, like, if you want, we can have a little session. You know, I don't know if you smoke weed, but I can bring a little weed too. Yeah. Alright. So yeah, let's do that. But yeah, I should probably get Coco. She probably has to go to the bathroom, potty. Maybe she's hungry.
Can I just finish going through
go through. Yeah.
So, like, this whole new consciousness thing, everybody is pretty much an enlightened saint. And so what happened is, like, I went through a process of enlightenment in 2014, and so, like, just as how you go through the lessons to become enlightened, there are lessons from enlightenment that you go through to become a saint.
Okay.
And so once you become a saint, then you can talk about your enlightenment, and you essentially become the perfect spiritual example for other people.
Okay. So that's what you're trying to become, or that's where you're...
I became a saint about 3 or 4 weeks before the 13th of January.
Okay.
And so, and apparently I'm the first saint in the U.S., although there are other saints in Peru that are shaman.
Okay.
So, being that I am this saint, I am the only person who can, like, actively talk about, like, this new consciousness, this new way of living that we're going through right now. And so my job is I have to teach other people these lessons so that everybody can become, they're already a saint, but they just have to know the lessons to get there.
And now, when going through that transition, you keep saying the 13th. What happened on the 13th that made you a god? Because you were a saint, and then on the 13th you essentially became a god, correct?
Well, I guess I will eventually become a god.
Okay.
And that's a very Buddhist idea that, you know, you become a saint and you do so many good deeds and eventually you become a god. But we're all gods, so I wouldn't call myself a god. because I'm the same as everybody else right now. You know, but the Jesus thing is essentially like realizing your full potential, which everybody can do. So everybody can be Jesus.
Yeah.
So what this Jesus thing represents is just the full human potential, ability of a human to realize their full potential.
Yeah.
Because I went through so much suffering. I had missing teeth. I was in the mental hospital for a year and a half. I went through so much suffering, and you know, to be called names like, you know, schizophrenic or you know, you're crazy. I got that a lot. You're crazy, and to be called so many things like that and to be dismissed, and to be able to still doubt that you are Jesus, you know, your whole life, not even believe in Christianity or Jesus your whole life. You know, don't give much to religions because they can be dogmatic and a little weird. But you can take what you want from them and use them for yourself. But
so I had a friend, and not to go on a schizophrenic thing, but I had a friend that he came back. This is my best friend, the one actually I'm going to see right now. And he came back from the Army, and he had post-traumatic stress, so he was living in the apartment, and he was saying some of the same ideas that you were saying. So he kept repeating this phrase. I don't know if it means anything to you, but he said, "You're the smartest person in the room until they know." And he would keep repeating that. "You're the smartest person in the room until they know." I found out a few years later that was from like an Army thing. Like, you know, if you get caught and then you tell the information, like as long as like they have you, like they can torture you, and you're the smartest person in the room until you tell them, you know, the information. But the whole point of that was, this is my best friend, man. He gets back from the Army. We're smoking a little bit of weed. Next thing you know, he's cooking breakfast at 3 a.m. I was like, "Yo, what are you doing?" You know, and he started saying things that like you were saying. But he wasn't the God. He was the Antichrist. So he took on a completely different approach to it. But that being said, just like you, he went into a hospital. So he spent several weeks, maybe up to 3 months, in a mental facility as well. And, you know, they were giving him medicine, and he didn't want to take it at first because he was an Army vet, man, and he's strong, and, like, you know, he doesn't need medicine. Like, what? Like, but there is a chemical imbalance in his brain. At that point, there was. And he eventually, after several weeks, he relapsed. They let him out, and he was fine. And then he started saying he was the Antichrist again, and surely he believed it. Like, there was no telling him different. But then once he started taking his medicine, they kind of corrected that chemical imbalance in his brain, and he came, I want to say, back down to society, you know, in a society, like, to where I know how you're thinking right now. Everyone thinks different than you, you know, and you think for whatever reason, everyone thinks different than you. And I don't want to say the word schizophrenic because I don't think my buddy, he's not schizophrenic. He's not a schizophrenic. He had a traumatic experience in a war zone where he lost friends and he had to do horrible things for a sense, and that affected him. Now with you, I see that you have had a situation with your parents where you had a very traumatic situation, and I do believe that you have some sort of post-traumatic stress, and I'm sure that you would agree with that, correct?
I talked about it openly on social media.
Of course, and I read that. That's why so I do believe that, you know, that would have something. So I don't know, like, do you ever think, are you satisfied with this God approach, or are you happy with where you are right now, or would you be for like trying to get a chemical balance and coming back down to society like my buddy did?
There are so many things in what you just said that I want to address.
Yeah, all right.
But let me start off by saying that I am poor as fuck. I get $10 a week and around $90 a month for food stamps.
Okay.
So when you add that up, what's that? $130 a month. Not a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Poorest I've ever been in my entire life. No, it doesn't even register on the poverty scale. It's like below poverty, you know, or it's like.
Do you feel like you're in a hole and you have to climb out? Like, and I only ask you, I don't want that to sound demeaning or rude. I personally, sometimes, I just had my camera lens, this lens over here is broken. I broke my drone, I broke my bike, and I broke my laptop within a matter of 2 months. And I was like, I want to be a photographer. Like, I want to do this. And I broke all my gear. And I was in this hole that after I would get one thing fixed, another thing would break. And I was like, this is just a hole. For you, like you're saying, poor. Like, money is, you know, it affects everything. Like, with me, how do I fix this shit without money? That's why I got to go work on boats. And I got to go to Oklahoma and work on, you know, fields. So I understand, but do you feel like if you had money and if you had the ability to maybe get a chemical balance, would you be interested? Like, would that be something, or would you not want to do it?
I don't know what you're asking.
So, I mean, like my buddy, like, I don't know, do you take medicine at the moment or no?
No.
No. What I'm asking is if someone were to say that, hey, maybe you should take a little medicine. I understand what you're saying. Like, I understand your philosophies. Like, that's, like, you know, but it does sound slightly schizophrenic. And, like, and, you know, but, like, it's not schizophrenic. Like, my buddy's not schizophrenic. He's post-traumatic stress. Like, and it's a chemical imbalance. And once he started taking his medicine, he's a normal guy. He's got a job. He makes a lot of money. Like, he's got a girlfriend. Like, he's got a dog. Like, he's living a good life. Like, I think that, would you want to pursue something like that? Like, would you want to, like, if you had, like, money not being an issue?
Well, man, motherfucker, I feel better than I've ever felt in my entire life, okay?
The fact you just hit that cigarette so hard and said that is so funny.
Bro, you don't understand the amount of meaning and purpose I feel on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking on top of the world, man. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, do I need to say anything else?
No, you're good, man. You're good. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna stop this right here for a second. I don't know how to pause.